Okay guys, time for another top 5, and today is top 5 likes and dislikes are about the Arrma Granite 4x4 3S BLX. There's a lot to like about this car, but I've also had a few issues with it as I've pushed the performance envelope of the thing. Now before I drill down into the top 5 likes and dislikes that I've got about the Arrma Granite 4x4 3S BLX, I tend to do this with all the cars I get in at some point. It's not just me having a pop at Arrma over these certain points, having a pop at Traxxas, having a pop at Axial, etc. It's like things, some of them are niggling problems on there. Some of them are really good things. Others are just like things you should be aware of, maybe before making your purchasing decision, or there's something that might be not very good about the car, but that's an easy modification to sort out and make it really good after that. So I hope you see where I'm coming from, guys, on that. Anyway, these are my top 5, but I'm sure you will have your say in the comment section below the video, guys, on things that you might think should have been in the top 5 or that I've overlooked on the car, which is an absolutely cracking little buy for the money. Anyway, let me get that camera down and talk you through my Arrma Granite 4x4 3S BLX top 5 likes and dislikes. Okay guys, well, point number 1 when it comes to likes and dislikes about the Arrma Granite 4x4 BLX isn't these parts I'm holding in my hands all the time, but I'm going to come on to those in a minute. It is the body. I love the orange and black colour combination, absolutely pops out at you, but just like the previous brushed Arrma Granite I had before, the body suffers terribly at the back here, guys. It just wears through when it's wheeling and it's skidding on the ground. The back of the car eventually it writes the whole body off eventually on there. I know quite a few other people have had the same problem on there. I did suggest about putting like a piece of sacrificial plastic, much the same way that the Arrma Refraction has the 2 rubbing strips on the roof. Why don't Arrma sell the granite bodies with a rubbing strip on the back there that would stop this from happening? But they might not do that, because then they wouldn't sell more new bodies to the likes of you and I on there. But so while I like the colours of the body, guys, that really isn't good in the long run. I know a lot of other people have had the same issue with it. So that's point number 1 there, guys. And staying around at the back of the car, guys, the wheelie bar on the Arrma Granite and on the Senton is really not up to the job. Now this is one for anybody familiar with the ultra oval Traxxas out there. God forbid, Richie, I did a conversion. There's a video on this if anybody wants to see how this is done. This is a Traxxas Rustler wheelie bar on the back of here, guys, mounted on there. It's got a little bit of flex in it, you will notice. So when it leans back, or more to the point, when it takes a hard landing like that, it bounces and bends in. Whereas the one that comes with the granite is completely rigid, and you go down like that, bang, and the bracket snaps underneath the car, and you end up buying a new wheelie bar. This has now been on the car for probably 6 months plus on there, guys. A few people to start with said it'll never last, Richie, it won't work, etc, etc. The thing is absolutely fine, guys. 6 months further on, guys, the thing's absolutely fine. But I will put a link to that wheelie bar mod on there, guys. So that is something I think could be improved. The original wheelie bar just didn't flex at all. So in particular, any bad landings, end on down, and the thing was the kiss of death on there. That's a simple thing to my mind that Arrma could rectify on there, to put a wheelie bar on with a bit of flex. Or you think about it and do a mod like I did. Just remember, guys, if you like what you see today, don't forget to subscribe. Okay guys, point number 3 in my likes and dislikes about the Arrma Granite 4x4 BLX has to be the drive shafts. They are plastic, just like the ones on the Traxxas Rustler 4x4. However, these ones, sadly, the pins on them keep pulling loose under the torque of the motor on it, and it was driving me crazy. I was getting through like 2 or 3 a week in some cases. You could push the pins back together and kind of rebuild the thing, but then next time out the thing would go apart. I have cured the problem with the fitment of the hot racing drive shafts, both front and rear on that. They are absolutely superb, bulletproof. Even when I was running this car on 4S power, they would handle the 4S power, whereas certainly the stock ones were struggling with the 3S power. Downside to these, guys, they're about 70 bucks. Oh no, not for the 4, about 70 bucks a pair, guys. So you're looking at about half the cost of the car on top of it in order to do that conversion, which I realise everybody is not going to be able to afford, and it was and I kind of bit the bullet on buying them and fitting them myself. So well, they solved the problem of the drive shafts breaking, they do so at a price there, guys. And I did initially try some cheaper drive shafts from another manufacturer that shall remain nameless, but they were breaking even on 3S, again supposedly rated drive shafts, but I'm not going to wash the laundry in public on that one there, guys. But suffice to say, the hot racing ones definitely work, particularly with these Proline Badlands MX-28s, which brings me on to point number 4, the tyres. So point number 4 in my top 5 likes and dislikes about the Arrma Granite, guys, is the tyres. The stock tyres are absolutely fantastic. Very, very predictable, guys, indeed. You can just go crazy. They seem to wear very well. I mean, these have had a very hard life, and yet there's still like loads of wear in them. I changed the MX-28s purely because they've got more rotational mass, and the thing will, instead of say doing a single black flip with the MX-28s on, you'll get a double black flip done in the same space and height, etc. So it's purely a personal preference on there, but the stock tyres, absolutely fantastic. You can't fault them enough. Even at 50 miles an hour top speed of this car, they're ballooning, but they're not ballooning unmanageably so that you feel like the thing's driving on a knife edge. You can comfortably drive it on full throttle and at 50 miles an hour on these and still be able to turn, brake and etc. stop safely on the tyres. So yeah, we highly rate those. Okay, guys, when it came to point number 5 on my top 5 of things to like and dislike about the Arrma Granite 3S BLX, there were quite a few things to choose from, but I did just want to keep this to the 5 points. So that brings me to the last one, which is the power plant, because the 3S BLX setup in here is an absolute firecracker, guys. You've got huge torque, huge punch, whatever in the range, low down, high up. The thing's got more acceleration than it really should have, for given the fact it just runs on 3S on air. It certainly seems to have a lot more torque than the Traxxas Volinium VXL system does in the same type of vehicle on here. Well, some of the Traxxas ones you can maybe gear to go at a higher speed. I think this has it beaten in terms of that mid-range and low-down torque and grunt in there. So if you're not worried necessarily about going 60-65 miles an hour in there, if 50 is enough for you, then I would say this is definitely a car that should be on your short list. Great electrics give great battery time. With a 3S pack in there, you can be running flat out for a solid 20 minutes before the thing even begins to tail off. Little touch points outside of the top 5 there, guys. The shocks, guys. Somebody at Arrma definitely needs to look into the shocks. So Shen RC did a great series of articles on these, how to stop the shocks leaking, because they leaked on the brush car, they still leak on the brushless car. But anyway, guys, wanted to keep it to those top 5 today. But if you've got any more comments on things like the shocks, then have your say in the comment section below the video. Well, I hope you liked my Arrma Granite 4x4 3S BLX top 5 likes and dislikes, guys. You may well have your own opinion on some of these points or other points on the car that you think I should have addressed. If you do, have your say in the comment section below this video. Well, thumbs up if you like this video, guys. Post any comments you might have in the comment section below the video and hit the circle below to subscribe. And if you do hit the circle, don't forget to hit the bell.